Hello there, Gia.
Hello, Keisha. Hello, world.
Hello, world. Hi, everybody. Oh, and before we start, a couple of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
First, I wanted to say that last time I mentioned the band I love, Yumi, I said that they were Australian when in fact they're from New Zealand. Just want to clear that up.
Oh, we are really. And I was said something sort of bashy about Australia trying to be funny, and so we were really on a roll, huh?
We were, although we still love Australia. If anyone
We
out there in
do, yeah.
Australia, New Zealand, if anyone's looking for a 61-year-old woman without really anything in the pro column, lots in the con column, reach out to me. You know, I'm
And
available.
she'll be on a plane. I just sent you a
Yeah.
funny Australian
Oh,
meme.
I saw my phone light up and it's like that can't be Gia.
It
We're
is. I
podcasting.
meant to send it to you the other day. I think it
Oh.
might be one of those. What are they called? Quokkas?
Quokkas,
Quokkas?
yeah, yeah. I was gonna send you a picture of one last time, but I thought, "No, no, we're professionals.
We're
Let's stay
pros. No,
focused.
well, I'm not
Stay
sure if that's a
focused."
quokka or not, but it's a funny meme.
Okay. Oh,
Having to
and
do with Australia.
oh, nice, okay. And then the other thing I wanted to that doesn't look like a quokka, that looks like a
No,
little
I don't know what that
psychopath.
is.
Something rabid. Also, I wanted to say, and you'll enjoy this, Gia. My
Yeah.
my good friend Bailey, my work friend Bailey, who's also a horse person.
Uh-huh.
Listen to the last episode. She agreed with everything you said about the horse stuff and
Thank you. And so she watches Hospital. She's not just
no, no,
listening.
no.
No? Well, then
No,
how
she's
could she agree if she didn't know
well,
what we were
the
talking about?
type of horses, like the posh type of horses and all of that
Okay.
stuff,
Yeah.
Western, Eastern, all of that nonsense,
Western Eastern. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hooey, the horse hooey. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just giving you that as a little gift. Um,
Thank you. Thank you. We had a little more, we had some horse reference stuff today with poor Cody and
we did, didn't we?
uh
Yeah, and Hades
yeah.
kicked Cody.
Apparently the tranquilizers wore off long enough for Hades to lift a hoof.
Yeah,
I was thinking that horse that they showed would not be able to lift a hoof as high as Cody's rib cage. You know,
yeah, yeah.
that
Hmm.
horse is like 38 if it's a day.
38 years old
Yes.
or like okay.
That horse was just barely comatose. Didn't
I don't know. I guess I have different standards of liveliness in a
of
horse.
what's alive and what's not
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, if it's standing, that's all I need.
Well, anyway, well, thank you, Bailey. I like your name, and I probably would like you just for agreeing with me there.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bailey.
Appreciate it.
No,
She
she's
probably knows
lovely.
what Land of the Lost is too. But
I
no, you
no,
said she's a lot younger, so
she's
she
young.
wouldn't
She's
know.
very
Yeah,
young. Yeah, she's the one who didn't know they were still taping General Hospital.
yeah, and probably taping isn't even the right phrase.
Right,
Like,
I know. As I said that, I was like, what would they call it now?
please,
Recording?
please be kind. Rewind. You know.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, so here we are. Here we are, off to the
Yeah.
races.
Yeah, we're going to talk about General Hospital. We got some stuff.
We do have some stuff. What comes to mind when we say stuff, Gia? What do you want to
Well,
talk about?
I one scene stands out in my mind, and I think probably a lot of viewers felt this way
Mhm.
that I found the sex scene between Drew and Willow
Oh,
really
sorry.
quite horrific and disturbing.
I
I was
it
like,
did
I'm disturbed by this.
I was too. I thought when the sexy music started, I thought they're not really going to show those two, are they? Nobody wants that, right? Does
Yeah, and
anybody out there want that?
I don't think so. I mean, we want our like sexy soap love in the afternoon stuff, but not with those two.
No, no,
And I
no.
I found I kept having to remind myself that Willow was a willing
I
participant, because
know. Yeah. Oh God, that
he
was
seems so. I was like, oh my God, he's trying to open her shirt. Like Willow, like spray him with the mace or something.
No, I know. Yeah, same. Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, it was
Awful.
yucky. And I feel bad for those actors. They must know that they're like a despised couple. They must read enough social media to know that everybody's just like, oh my God, they can't.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully,
yeah,
well, also I'm not getting the same sort of feeling. I don't know if I was getting any sort of like genuine, like tender, loving feelings from either of them, but especially Willow. I don't feel that she's in this like in the same way. And maybe that's just me projecting because I don't know how she could possibly want to be in this, but
right. Well, she should be quite disturbed by all the red flags that he's been,
oh,
hoisting
he
up
was
the
yeah, I know, like, his
petard. Yeah.
idea of, like, pillow talk is talking about, like, what will happen if something happens to her,
How
you
many
know?
times did he say, if something happens to you? I'm like, oh my God, this is more like a movie of the week where,
Yeah, he's
it should,
definitely talking in an unnatural way about their
her
future.
demise,
Yeah,
her
and
demise.
I mean, he even had a scenario where something happens to Michael and she's incapacitated. I mean, like, what are the odds that both of them are gonna be
Right.
unable to keep the kids,
Well,
you
the
know?
odds are greater if Drew's involved, apparently. I mean, I'm wondering if
Apparently.
that's where they're going. If it's all like a way to stick it to Carly somehow, like take
Yeah.
a- take the kids away. It all seemed to be aimed at you don't want Carly to get the
Right,
kids.
right. It was more and more sinister. I mean, the first time he brought this up, it was creepy and awful, but this time he was just sticking with the subject and and then
Yeah.
and I also was so uneasy when she told him she was gonna go visit Michael, and he's all, like, sort of, like, I don't know, trying to figure out if there's a way he can manipulate the situation and, like, saying he's gonna go with her, obviously, that was what we were sort of expecting him to say, and thank God she didn't, like, allow that, but it feels like something's up now, like, he's seeing this as a window of
Yeah, and
opportunity.
and he just it was the first time where he like where she was sort of showing some autonomy, and
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was he was doing all kinds of backpedaling and trying to like appear
Mhm.
like the good guy, even though he's, like still trying to control her and control the
Yeah,
situation.
exactly, yeah, like, allowing her to think she's independent in this
Yeah,
scenario, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Mhm.
super creepy, but
Yeah.
apparently all a turn on for Willow.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That felt ugh, God, that was very, very, very bad.
But we have to remember her history with Shiloh, and
Yes, yes.
maybe she's been kind of groomed. I hate that word. People use that all the time now, but
They do, yeah. Mhm.
she's like conditioned in some way to be need to be controlled, to be like that's
Mhm.
her thing. Maybe she thinks that's what love in a relationship is, like,
Yeah. Mhm.
maybe with Michael it was all too normal and decent or something. And
Right, and it bothers me when she refers to her relationship with Michael as sort of problematic, like they
right,
were
like
having
if there were
trouble.
problems we weren't seeing them.
No, no, and they only sort of arose when Drew got involved. Like he sort
Yeah,
of
Drew
started to
was the problem.
he
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. I mean, they whatever they had between them, maybe if they weren't satisfied on some level, it seemed like they would have been able to work through that, but Drew made it impossible.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because whenever she talks about that, I'm like, "What? I don't like." They weren't
Yeah.
showing us any problems if there were. They were like
No.
she was sort of dissatisfied with the job thing and whatever. It's like
Mhm.
sort of searching, but
Mhm.
yeah, they did not make it appear like those two were having a problem.
No, and
until
Michael was very supportive of, like, her job choices, like, working at the hospital or not, and
or
then she
not, right?
you
Yeah,
know, and then Drew got her that, like, imaginary job, so he
right.
could be around her more. So he sort of orchestrated, I think, their sort of estrangement.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a big chunk of uh, I don't
Yeah.
know what day that was, Wednesday or something, Tuesday, but the creep factor was like off the charts with that little
Yeah.
sex scene. It was like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
felt
and
like she
another
needed to be rescued, and
rescued and then scrubbed clean,
yeah,
like a
yeah,
good scrubbing with like steel wool and maybe some Ajax if they still
yeah,
make that.
like
Um,
an exfoliant.
yeah.
Um,
See, that would be a serious exfoliant.
they
Can
don't
we
make Ajax anymore.
maybe they do, I don't know. Uh, can we stick with Drew for a minute?
Yeah, but I'm concerned about Ajax, so
Oh, about
but
it
go
not
ahead.
being available to us? Okay.
Yeah, like that's sort of a smell from my childhood, like that was the go-to
Mhm.
cleaner, wasn't it?
Mhm. I think so. Yeah, I remember a friend of mine. If any of she or her brothers or sisters got poison ivy, their mom would bathe them in Ajax.
Really? Does
Yeah,
that work? Did
it
it
must
do?
it must dry the shit out of your poison ivy.
Yeah, it's still quite available.
Oh, good. Okay.
Cheap.
Drew. Yeah.
Well, it's 21-ounce powder all-purpose cleanser, $1.48 at Home Depot.
Wow. Wow, that is cheap. That's almost
Yeah,
too cheap. It makes you wonder. It's like cheaper
I
than
know.
baking soda,
Well,
huh?
that's the cheapest I'm seeing, but anyway. Oh yeah, it's all over the place. With bleach, without bleach, everything. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Don't
glad we
don't worry
got that
about it then.
sorted
Okay.
out. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, when he was talking to Kai and that was another scene where it was almost similar in the sense that like Kai's all like, wide-eyed and just sort of taken
Gullible
with
and yeah.
yeah, yeah, like, and somehow he's in this position where he's already feeling indebted to Drew, already feels like he owes Drew, like just like Willow has always felt like she owed Drew because he quote unquote saved her life,
Saved
even
her.
though we
Yeah.
know he didn't. Um, he
Not
was just
alone.
he was just
Yeah.
like a tool. He was just part of the plan.
A blunt
Um,
tool. Yes.
what? Ouch.
But yeah, so Kai, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So what do you think this angle is with this? He wants to make a documentary about Kai's experience. Like what's going on there? Some kind of porn?
That's that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stole your thunder.
No,
But I was
no,
like, well, that's
no.
a weird thing. I didn't expect that.
Oh, it was so weird, and it was like, yeah, that's all I could think, and I was like, "Oh,
It
Keisha."
may just be we're both kind of creepy. We're both creepy
I
minded
know.
people. But
I know. And nobody out there is surprised that we both thought that
both
that
thought
would be
maybe
the
he wants to use
outcome.
well Kai's under the anesthesia. He's gonna do some kind of creepy movie with him or something. I don't know. But
Drew's gonna start to sort of encourage him to grow a mustache.
yeah, I don't know. I couldn't. I like. What would that be about? Just more whitewashing of Drew's
I
reputation by
think
having
so.
some
Yeah, I think somehow Drew would be like a key figure in this documentary.
the humble benefactor.
Yeah, but that was also very, very
Yeah.
unpleasant. And it does sort of make you wonder like, oh, so how is this all going to play out? I don't know, if the surgery's coming right up. That was very quick that this Dr.
Yeah,
Mohinder
and
came
I,
into
I feel
town.
like that was one compliment I wanted to pay the writers. Currently, I feel like, and today especially, we had
Yeah.
stuff moving, like little storyline things
Yeah.
progressing
Yeah.
super fast. Like,
Mhm.
oh, well, that's nice.
Mhm.
They're not like putting it all on a back burner.
Right,
Um,
right. Yeah, why not pick up the pace? And I was thinking for your sake, I hope Dr. Mohinder is played by Jason Momoa.
Wouldn't that be awesome? There's some current ad for, I don't even know, it's some kind of like video game or something where
Uh-huh.
Jason Momoa is dressed in like a pink
Oh,
tracksuit and
yeah, yeah.
he's got like funny feathery bangs or something. Have you seen that ad?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So not only is he like beautiful, he must have a real good sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's a total package, huh, Gia?
Total.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Speaking of Kai, we had some scenes with Kai and Trina. And did you
Yeah.
notice Trina's earrings?
Yeah, they looked like the little birds
The
that she and
turtle doves, yeah.
Spencer used to haul around, but those weren't earrings, right? Those were just little
No, they were just
statues that they had.
oddly loose little figurines that had no
Yeah.
way to like even sit upright. Like they were the
Yeah.
stupidest
Yeah.
little prop pieces. And so you remember how angry I was about him at the
I
time.
I know, I'm glad you've let go of that anger.
Well, I wanted to just say if that's what she's done with them, if she took them into a jewelry store and had them converted into earrings, like bravo.
Bravo,
You know?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was thinking that too, yeah, but they looked golden, didn't they? I mean, I
Yeah,
suppose,
maybe they weren't the actual birds that she had. I don't know.
uh, but maybe that inspired her to get those earrings, I
Could
don't
be.
know either.
I mean, those stupid little figurines, like she could have sat on those on the couch,
Yeah,
and that would have been the
yeah,
end of
mhm,
all
yeah.
she had left of Spencer.
I know, it was very nerve-wracking having to wonder what was gonna happen to those
Those
little birds.
tiny little loose little things, like the little tight jeans everybody's wearing. It's not like she could have them in a pocket and be pulling. Like
No, no, it would snap, one of those wings would snap right off and
yeah, exactly.
perhaps cut her through the
Anyway,
fabric of her pants.
the earrings were cute. I liked her hair.
Mhm,
Um, she had
mhm,
it in kind of like two sort of pigtaily things, and
mhm.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that's all her real hair, but if it is, my goodness gracious.
mhm. It's good hair, it's good solid hair.
That's
Um,
really all I wanted to say about that was, did you notice the earrings?
yeah, 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 I did, yes,
And she's
I
choosing to support Kai. She's gonna,
mhm,
even
yeah,
though
I
it's gonna be hard on her, I think.
exactly. I liked I don't know if it was when she was talking to Kai or with Curtis, maybe with Curtis. I kinda liked their conversation. There was part of it where she seemed to sort of really settle into her character, kind of,
Yeah.
just sort of like talking like a normal person, and it kinda rang true to me somehow.
I
Um
probably didn't notice because I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if she were speaking to Taggart, her father?
I feel like our brains are overlapping a lot because I was thinking, I wonder if Gia's even able to enjoy this conversation because she's probably wishing Taggart was here. Honestly, that's what I was thinking.
I do. I mean, all the time. I just think it's so sloppy to assume that we've all forgotten
Yeah.
that character and all the promises made to him.
Mhm.
You'll always
Mhm.
be my father, just because I found out who
Yeah.
my biological father is. It's like,
Mhm. I know. I
and
know.
it's just lazy because
Mhm.
they could take care of it by saying that, oh, he developed, a little problem with alcohol, and so he's in
Mhm.
California now, or whatever, like
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
at a rehab with Finn or
Yeah.
whatever. They
Right.
could just
Right, yeah. All the
follow it up,
characters we miss are in rehab in
with
California.
Finn, yeah.
Scotty could be there too, Liesel, everybody's just
Yeah,
sort of
and Scotty, like, totally left the landscape and not a mention.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
terrible because that's one of your
Like,
classic
your
characters.
legacy, right, I know.
Exactly, exactly, yeah, so shame on them, and it almost feels like it's out of spite that they just drop these characters without,
Spite
explaining.
towards us, you think? Or
Or towards, I don't know, the actors, who knows, but it feels like they're sort of, like, getting even with somebody when they don't follow through with those things, you know?
yeah, yeah, it could be so easily handled. I mean, we'd buy it, we'd be like, "Oh, okay, we know he's gone," but at
Yeah.
least, they could give us that satisfaction of whatever,
Mhm.
like, what if
Mhm.
they wanna bring Taggart back someday? It'll be like, "Taggart who?" I don't
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
know.
know
I'm
who
sounding kinda pissy and
Well,
Shallow. Sorry.
it's too bad there isn't some sort of a nonprofit organization that could handle calls from us, when we get
When
upset
we
about
want to just
things like
unload
this.
about this stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
Some
been looking for
800 number.
I've been looking for Trina's earrings on As One on TV, and they don't seem to have that. But
Mm, uh-huh.
you can buy that gold ensemble that Ava had on the other day. Like,
I
you
was
could you
wondering
could
if you
pull that
could.
off.
I don't I don't think I'd wanna try. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I mean, it's very Ava. It's very, very Ava,
It
and
was very Ava, but
no one
yeah,
else maybe other than Ava, but, yeah, a little too shiny, a little too much of the
it was
one
kind of
fabric.
yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, Alexis had some earrings on that I found very distracting.
Oh yeah, they looked a little painful.
They looked
Um,
painful, and every time she, like, moved her head, the light caught them, and I was feeling like I
yeah,
was gonna, like, vomit. Like, there should have been one of those
and
warnings,
those were sort
you know?
of like connected feelings for you. The earrings made you the light flashing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
uh-huh.
might be getting to the root of some of your issues. And then do
Alright.
you develop a migraine right after that? Is that kind of
Actually, I'd taken some migraine medicine earlier, so I was migraine free when I was watching, but I was
huh,
feeling like I almost wanted to look away because the earrings were distracting me
earrings?
too
Yeah,
much, yeah. And
they
then I thought
yeah.
Diane's were a little more like they made more sense to me. As jewelry.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were more like, what do you call those? Like not they weren't hanging, they weren't a dangly
They
earring.
weren't dangling. Okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't even remember what hers were, but I do know the Alexis's one. I thought Alexis's hair looked weird today too. Like she had these two pieces pulled forward, and the
Uh-huh,
rest of it pulled
uh-huh.
back, and it looked a little, I don't know,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
something, little
Well, and
something.
speaking of sloppy, I mean, Diane was
We're
sloppy.
we're just sort of pinwheeling from things that annoy us.
If there were an 800 number we could call,
Yeah,
we would
we could
spare
get
you
rid of
guys a
all this.
lot of
Yeah,
this, and we could focus on other things, but there isn't one yet. Um, and there probably won't be, I guess.
unless
Uh,
we are it, we could be it.
we could start a toll-free number.
Yeah,
Oh boy. Diane, okay, number 1, she did not shred the whatever it's called, the
right, right.
papers to
The
commit Christina.
right. Yeah,
Okay, so that we knew that was a classic soap opera decision not to shred
yeah.
something like that. And then she puts it into a file that what's his name? Marco
And
sees.
hands it to Marco, right? Yeah,
Yep,
and he
yep.
sees it. He sees it. He's a speed reader apparently
He
because he
is
like
'cause
yeah. He handed
what
that to her like within 2 seconds.
yeah, and I didn't even see a name at the top of it when we looked at it later on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I guess her name must have been on there somewhere. Anyway, so that was very, very sloppy, and then she drops everything, when she's stops in to see Rick,
Yeah,
and
which that seemed almost like on purpose. Like I was like, "Oh, what is she doing here?"
Oh, well, yeah, and I that flashed through my mind, but I thought there's no way Diane would do that. Would she, like, try to, like, make sure Molly
I
finds out?
Well, that's what occurred to me, but then why, like, how she, in her conversation with Rick, like, revealed that
Yeah,
she
yeah,
knew something was up,
yeah,
and she was
right,
upset with herself about that. So
right. Yeah, yeah.
why would
So
she have planted that
uh-huh. Yeah.
document for Molly to find? It didn't, those two things didn't track, but she seemed
Mhm.
so artificial in the way she knocked her bag off there.
Yeah, and yeah, that was all like, "Seriously? She's just she's not paying any attention to that
Yeah.
envelope and where
Then
it's
she
landed?"
wrote Davis on it too, which seemed
Right, yeah,
like
mhm.
unnecessary.
Yeah, and then I was also thinking that if it's not like she couldn't have created another document like that if she had shredded the first one, it wouldn't take that much work, I wouldn't think,
Right,
to
right,
to
yeah.
print out another copy, so
Right, exactly, yeah, there was no real need to save that, except it's a soap
yeah,
opera, so, yeah.
except it's a soap opera, yeah, Yeah, so all of that seemed very un-Diane like, although
Un-Diane, like, very bad lawyering.
bad lawyering, yeah, and, the only, I think, defense she might have is that she is profoundly upset with Alexis, who she can see
Yeah,
making terrible decisions here, you
yeah,
know?
right. The
Um,
frustration of trying to advise her best friend is, yeah,
yeah.
like, 'cause that's why I thought maybe she was taking matters into her own hands.
Right, right, yeah.
Somehow I didn't quite
Mhm.
I haven't figured out how in the world that would help anything.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
either. I don't know. But so I feel for Diane. And then I wonder, like, ethically, is she bound by law in any way to disclose what she knows? Or is like attempted murder, below
well,
the
I mean,
threshold?
like, isn't there some lawyer-client privilege thing going on?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
even if
that's
they
I don't know where it ends. Like, yeah, if there's a rule where like if if they've murdered somebody or something, do you have to honor that privilege? I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. I mean, lawyers defend murderers, and they must
They
be
do.
telling them
Yeah.
things, so I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know, but I'm still waiting to see if that was on purpose and
Yeah,
somehow
right.
there's some angle
Right.
that we just haven't figured out.
Yeah, that's
Like,
possible.
Molly finding that, like, how would
Mhm.
that
And now that Molly has found it, so she saw it, right? She saw what
Yeah,
it
at the very
was.
end, yeah, she saw what
Yeah.
it was and started flipping
So,
out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how
But that
Molly.
was one of the, like, quick plot moves that I was referring to earlier.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
they
"Wow, I
did.
can't believe that happened in one episode, basically."
Right, right, yeah, and geez, I'm wondering, like, if Marco knows about this now, then will Molly somehow, like, keep it under wraps, and then we'll see if Marco does anything with the information, or
Right, it's gonna be a real test of Marco now to see
yeah,
what
and I don't like that guy at all, at all.
I don't I don't like
I
him.
don't like him. I
I
don't
don't
like
like him
no.
at all.
At all. I mean, when he said, like, if he were ever to, like, represent Sonny or Jason, it's like, "Whoa. Whoa, whoa." How preposterous would that be to even, like, think that that's a possibility? That just
Yeah,
I don't know. I was really I mean, I knew they were gonna keep him and give him the job, but
right,
I
which
really
was
didn't
like,
want
yeah.
them to.
I
Yeah.
didn't want them to either, and I thought in reality, um, nobody would have. You'd be like,
Nobody would have. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm not digging him either, and I don't know. Um, I guess we'll
Yeah.
just have to see with him. I mean, I
What he
also felt
says.
like he should have been somehow. I mean, you don't want to act like you're not confident, but I felt like a little bit of apologizing would have been helpful when he was being
Yeah, right.
or something a little like humility or something about
Mhm,
um but
mhm.
it seemed more like he kind of doubled down on what he'd done. um
Yeah, I know, I don't really like the attitude of that
I don't
guy.
like yeah, and he's very kind of always got a little bit of a smirk, it seems like.
Mhm. Yeah, but he doesn't have a sense of humor, so he shouldn't be smirking.
He- right.
They
Yeah.
we
I
gotta be
guess
able to back
we
it
haven't
up.
seen much humor yet, have we? Yeah.
No.
Um, let's see. Another big storyline, like I'm trying to back up into earlier days, was
Okay.
Chase and Brook Lynn deciding to
Mm,
adopt.
mhm.
That was a big
Yes.
plot point,
Yes. Yes.
and I didn't really see that coming.
Well, again, I think it came faster maybe than we would have
Yeah,
anticipated.
yeah.
And I'm gonna give a shout out to Ned, although he didn't have a real, like, powerful scene, but once again, he delivers such a lovely, supportive dad sort of
He's
vibe,
got
you know?
the dad vibe is very realistic with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like he's so sincerely happy for Brooklyn and Chase, and just you just don't doubt that he cares and that he would do whatever he can to help, you know?
Yeah, and it was lovely what he said about Leo. It made me go, "Oh yeah, we haven't seen
Yeah,
Leo in a
yeah.
million years."
Exactly, yeah, that was a
That was
reminder of
nice. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
so
I don't like this silly snag, which is just the usual soap opera crap about,
Yeah.
well, we got to use the agency that you used,
Right, right, of
So we
course,
get to see
of
more
course.
Lois worried eyes, worried face
Yeah,
thing going
and
on,
talking
and
to Ma and stuff. It's like,
yeah,
"Oh, come
it's just
on." Yeah,
silliness. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but and I even liked and then once they said adopting, and then it never occurred to me like, oh, adopt an older child. Like, how interesting is that? I
Mhm.
didn't have that on my bingo card. And I thought, wouldn't that be interesting? Like, I hope it's not going to come around to like, oh, we're going to adopt Geo. But um, uh, put him in a baby bonnet, and.
Have him be, like, double adopted.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
But what an
Oh.
interesting storyline that could be if they adopt, a teenager or something.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think that would make a lot of sense. I mean, because I think you wait a long time for a baby unless you, well, I guess maybe you don't these days 'cause, like, up here, there's always babies that need to find homes, so maybe it's not that hard, but
But but yeah, I'm sure there are more teenagers that are
yeah.
waiting in foster care,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely,
That,
they would have a lot it's like puppies and older dogs, honestly. You know?
yeah. I have
Everybody
a
wants
friend
a
right now
fresh one. Yeah?
she has another friend that breeds Dalmatians
Mhm.
and sells them and just kind of casually on the side, kind of a side gig. But
Mhm.
apparently, every now and then they come out without spots, and then people don't want them. Like you can't
Mhm.
make money off them. So anyway, this friend is like kind of a dog trainer, so she's taking one of the white ones and trying to like put it through its paces and make it
Mhm.
like a trainable dog so they can give it
Mhm.
to somebody. And I thought, isn't that so sad to be the Dalmatian with no spots? That's
That
like
sounds like a
going to the
children's book.
the island of misfit toys or so. She sent
Yeah.
me a picture, and it's got like a little like sort of smattering of pepper here and there, but not you'd
Uh-huh.
never know it was a Dalmatian, but it looks like a good
Mhm.
little boy.
Yeah, sure,
I
sure.
thought, how
Well,
sad.
yeah, I can't really get excited about breeding dogs. Sorry.
Oh, I'm not asking you to, but
I
it
know.
just made me so no, I mean this is just like a side hustle for this person to make money.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
you know
yeah.
they
Uh-huh.
sell donations, but I just thought, oh, like you think everybody's gonna love you, and for some, just because you don't have spots, you're like not, not
Mhm.
valuable to the.
Yeah, that's kinda weird. That's kinda weird.
Yeah.
Although anyway, mm.
Anyway, so if anybody wants a white dog, it's here. Give me a shout out, maybe we can ship it to you. He looks like a nice boy.
You could always paint on the spots if that's
Right,
what you need.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, okay, that was just a side note. So, anyway, the adoption storyline, that's interesting and has a lot of potential, I think. And it would be
Mhm.
fun to see those two with
Mhm.
all kinds of challenges. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that would fill up a good storyline for those guys.
yeah, as adoptive parents, like how interesting would
Mhm,
that would be to see those
mhm,
two
mhm.
going through that. And then it branches off into the incredibly annoying Lulu
Ugh, again,
fiasco.
awful. Yeah, I mean, for a moment, it seemed like she was likable again. I don't remember what moment that
I
was,
was gonna
but
say, when was it? Because I'm not sure I
yeah,
felt any of that.
I
But
don't know. I mean, maybe it was with Rocco, maybe, but
yeah,
yeah,
she was
this
good with Rocco. That was true.
I guess, but I don't know, like, where did she find the money for this house?
I was thinking that too. I'm like, yep, she's been in a coma. She has
Yeah,
no job. I mean, she just picked up this freelance job, which, what do you make? Like a couple
a dollar
$100
a
an
word.
article or something, or yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, and, like, to get excited about, like, journalism again, it's like, Jesus Christ, how many people in this town have jobs, like, in magazines and media and stuff that are all, like, sort of, like, fading, you know?
Right. Well, the soap is kind of an old-fashioned world
I
anyway,
guess so, yeah. I don't like, I worry about their livelihood. I don't like to have that, like, in the background, you know?
Yeah, well, maybe she inherited Luke money or something, or Laura money, or I
Well,
don't
it
know,
like
but
wasn't she, like, anxious to get a job, like, at Deception or
oh,
wherever
right,
just
because she
so
needed
she
money
could.
to go find Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so, I don't know, did maybe Valentine give her some dough because
But
Charlotte
again, just
was.
yeah, sloppy writing, like, they could have let us know that
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because suddenly she's got a pretty nice looking house, a whole house,
It does
and,
look like a pretty substantial house, yeah, where, like, Ava was in her little apartment, and that seems like that's the kind of thing Lulu shoulda started out in
right,
maybe,
right.
you know?
And then I don't know, though, like, seeing having Dante there and, like,
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I didn't like the kerchief on her head, I thought that was kind of
You know?
trying to be obnoxiously cute,
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh,
like,
and
I'm doing manual labor now, I'm gonna put this kerchief up here and try to
mhm.
be extra cute.
Yeah, exactly, and I was trying to remember, like, the when she and Dante were last together, were they getting along? I can't remember anymore, but it seemed
Well,
like.
they broke up because he had PTSD, he had come back from
I know. I mean, like, last week, last
I thought
time
you were
they
laughing over PTSD, and I was thinking, "Hmm, a little inappropriate maybe," but
read the room. Um, no, I mean, like, was because they seem like they're sort of friendly, and then she'll do something that pisses him off or something, and I couldn't like, it felt like to me, the last time they had crossed paths, they had some issue between them, but maybe I'm forgetting something. So it
you
was sort
mean
of.
previous to her being in a coma or what?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no, I mean just
Oh,
like
oh.
recent, like days ago, the
Oh,
last
I
time
thought you
she's.
meant previous okay,
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, did she piss him off again yet? I don't know.
I
She's
well,
very
I don't.
annoying.
She's very annoying, yeah, it surprised me that he, like, came out of the shadows at the house. It's like, "What?" So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they're back to being, I don't know, friends or whatever, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, but, yeah,
But
what I don't know what I mean, I know she's the mother of their child, and of course they're gonna
mhm.
get
Yeah.
along, and he would help out possibly, but
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
did seem quite amicable,
Mhm.
and then Laura was making it like, "Ooh," kind of a like a,
Yeah, I'm
"Ooh,"
glad she didn't do
yeah,
more of that because that would have been, like, too much for me. I
yeah.
don't like that sort of, like, impulse people have, like, to
I don't
suddenly, like,
like
leap
that.
to conclude. I don't like anything.
That's your T-shirt. I don't like anything
Bailey had
at
a good
all.
T-shirt idea. I like everybody a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not much, but a little bit.
But anyway, so that's annoying, and yeah, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that Brook Lynn just decks her, like,
Yeah, yeah, because that just seems so, like, shady and just like, seriously, you're just gonna turn over every stone hoping that somehow, you.
and you're gonna write an article, and yeah, it was
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
So
Ex
yeah, I did not blame Brooklyn for like being on the warpath there.
I didn't either, and so Lulu basically exploited Lucas, to.
Yeah, and that was cruel too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I liked. Do we know who Lucas's birth mother was though? Like
Um,
we know Julian was his father, but
didn't you look that up last time? Isn't it
ah,
Cheryl?
shit.
Wasn't it Cheryl, Tiffany's sister, Cheryl?
Oh, okay, okay. So that's sort of yeah
Mhm.
before my time, I guess. But
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Um,
uh, but anyway, I was like, it's good for us to all be reminded of the everybody's lineage,
that's true, yeah, because we
because
need that.
yeah, because everybody walks in the room and you're like, wait, how are they?
Yeah.
Who are they? Wait a minute.
I
Wait.
still I know, I'm like, "Danny, okay, so who is Danny's mother?"
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
And who is Sam? And then you see, like,
Uh,
Dante and Jason together, which I love. I would love it if they became sort of
oh,
friends, but
yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
they've both had children with Sam?
Right. Yeah. I did have a little moment. Like I thought Jason was of course great with Danny, but I
Mhm.
had that little moment that I often have, and you've heard
Mhm.
me say it before,
Yeah.
where it's like
Mhm.
it seems so unfair to me that one parent who's there all the time,
Mhm.
is taken for granted, and then Jason swoops in and he's
Mhm.
like the freaking knight in shining armor because he's
Yeah. Yeah.
gonna hit some balls with him.
Mhm.
And
Right.
it's like the second coming of Christ just because he's spending some time with his son, even though he's like didn't raise him at all.
Yeah. I know. I know. This is another reason why we need
I
that
don't know why.
800 number
Yeah.
so you could
Why does it bother me so?
unload.
I mean, Jason doesn't act like he deserves that treatment, but you could
No.
see
Right.
these kids kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, sort of hero worshiping. Um,
Mhm.
and maybe
Yeah.
that's how it would really be. I mean, I was lucky enough to have two at home, like not at home, but like
Mhm.
they never divorced. They were both there for me,
Mhm.
so I didn't
Mhm.
have any of that
Mhm.
um, crap to work through as a kid. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
but
Mm.
Jason said all the right things today and was great with
He
him. And
did. He did.
oh,
And
and see there,
he
you just start melting, and that's also annoying.
I just I just, I think, I like to hear you say nice things about Jason. I know it's got sort of an asterisk because, yeah, he
Oh
was
yeah.
absent, but,
No, I mean lately, Jason has seemed like the moral center of this show, which is so
yeah,
weird.
he's sort of the stable person, not and I don't mean like the Cody stable, I mean like the
Right.
solid,
Stability kinda.
yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly. And, like,
like
even his advice to Willow, like, to go talk to
to
Michael
Baden-Baden. Yeah.
Baden-Baden, yeah, I'm sure you
Baden-Baden.
enjoyed that, yeah,
Yeah,
I know
I do.
I was infuriated with Carly when she was spinning out at the idea of Willow going to speak to Michael, but I was glad Jason was kind of able to, I don't know, talk her down sort of, and she had to go to California with Sonny, so she couldn't do anything to stop this trip for Willow.
Yeah, and this all what leads us to believe we're gonna get a new Michael, um,
Yeah, yeah,
sooner
that's what
rather
it's
than
looking like.
later.
Right,
Um,
right, mhm,
so we'll have to get used to that. We'll see how we
mhm.
do. You know how we are
Yeah,
with recasts.
right, and will Willow get pants feelings for this new
For the
Michael?
new Michael. Maybe that was the issue. We just needed a new Michael,
Yeah,
for
maybe.
for Willow. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so Sunny's the other big storyline there. What'd you
Yeah,
think of that whole like him in the hospital and then him having the little like kind of I guess they were flashbacks, recent
yeah.
flashback.
Uh-huh. Well, it was a little bit shocking to me that suddenly he was in the hospital, like it seemed like we needed again another like sort of transition scene or something to
Yeah,
show.
because they were taught like suddenly they were in the kitchen and then suddenly they were in
Yeah.
the hospital. Yeah.
Right, right. So I don't know. I mean, I do like the pace. I like things moving faster, I think, rather than slower. Once I got used to the fact, I was thinking, oh, so he's already in California. He's not at a hospital like in Port Charles. He's not at General Hospital. I had to like explain
Yeah.
to myself that he actually traveled. you know,
He
uh,
not but not really. But he did, but not really. It's pretend, but
It's
he did travel.
pretend,
Yeah.
but and they film it in California, so he's actually already in California.
Right, right. And do you think he got a soda on the flight or,
I don't see him as a soda guy, really. Maybe some
no?
seltzer? No?
Some kombucha maybe? Or maybe he had to not have anything because he was
I
having
know, that's what
surgery.
I'm wondering. Yeah, it all
Yeah.
happened so fast, and then, like, when they gave him the injection and had him count backwards, I thought, "Don't they usually have, like, something over their face? Do they not have the budget for one of those, like, things on their face that give them the gas?"
Huh?
like,
Oh
you
no,
know,
they put it in the
in
IV.
the IV. But yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Is that what they usually did on ER? Didn't they usually put a mask on them? Like a plastic
I
sort of
don't
like a
know.
gas thing? I don't know
Well, I
either.
mean, maybe it depends on what kind of outness you're doing. I mean, he needs to be obviously really out.
Outness, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Right, that's the technical term for,
yeah. But he held on.
anesthesia.
Anytime I've had to count back, I'm out at 9.
Are you sure you just don't know how to count back any
It
further
could,
than
well, maybe
9?
not. Maybe I didn't watch enough Sesame Street. Um,
You you
no,
just
but I'm
you're
like, well,
just
it's so
awake,
silly
but
that
you
they
stop counting.
so silly that they have me count because I'm like, the minute you say even count, I'm already like starting to see stars. Like I'm already going. I'm already gone.
Wow,
I'm gone,
wow,
baby.
you're an easy one, huh?
That shit is good. I I think you should have the colonoscopy just so you can
Just for the
experience that.
nap. Yeah, yeah.
That is, I have sympathy for Michael Jackson on that front for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, 'cause
Because if you
it's
had access to that, you would use it.
you'd be tapping that every day.
Oh my God, yeah, you'd just be like, I'm just gonna go for an hour. Like, wake me in an. Anyway,
Oh.
I noticed in the flashback. Correct me if I'm wrong. He
Uh-huh.
flashed back to Donna, to Dante, to his father, to
Mhm.
Christina.
Mhm.
No Michael.
Huh. No,
I
Michael.
don't remember seeing a Michael anywhere in there.
Well, that's interesting. Hmm. I
And
well,
I
hmm.
was kind of wondering, like, they were all pretty recent flashbacks, and I thought, do you have to
Mhm.
pay less? Like, is the further a flashback goes back, like, is that pricey? I mean, the explanation we've been given is we don't have a lot of flashbacks because they don't want to pay for them, right?
Right. And maybe they didn't have the budget for the flashbacks on, that anniversary episode because they had to save the money for these flashbacks, you
For
think?
these little, yeah, which may have just
Mhm.
been little reenactments. I don't even know if they were flashbacks. Were they? I mean, I'm not even sure. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they might have just been.
I think they got his Mike. They got Mike to come back and just
No, they
smile.
no, they didn't have Mike, they just had a picture of Mike, and I thought, well, they probably just
Uh-huh.
redid that scene.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I don't know. There was I'm jumping around, but there was one line that I really loved from today.
Oh, I had a good line too. Go ahead, Gia. Mhm.
Donna said, "I'm gonna go get my markers that smell like fruit."
Yeah, and yeah, and I thought Christina had a pretty good response.
Yeah, yeah. I had markers that smelled like stuff too. That's
You
probably why I
did?
can't count backwards, sniffing those.
Yeah, they that wasn't a smell that was supposed to be pleasant. That was just like
No, I
but
mean, do
you
you
liked
remember
it.
having smelly markers that like smell like
Yeah.
blueberry and
Oh,
whatever?
no, no, that was after my time, I think. Um,
Really? They
yeah.
didn't invent markers that smelled like stuff. Anyway, I'm sure it wasn't good for you, but we were all like, what's that one? I think
Hanging
the reason I
around
can't do math.
behind the gym, like,
Yeah.
smelling markers.
Do you remember? I know we've talked about this before, but I'm still amazed that the stupidity of teenagers that we would do stuff like this. That stuff called Rush. Did you ever sniff that stuff?
I did not.
Do you know what I'm
Rush.
talking about?
I remember a band called Rush.
Yeah, yeah. Which I was never on board with, to my cre-
Oh.
great credit.
Oh, no. They did a really good song with Amy Mann from Till Tuesday,
Really?
believe it or not. Yeah. Mhm.
Believe it
Time
when I
Stands
hear it.
Still, look it up. Oh,
Look it up.
yeah.
Google it. No, Rush was it was just like a little bottle of stuff, and you'd sniff it. We'd be passing it around in class, and you'd sniff it, and it would make your head like go wow, 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 like for 2 seconds, and then it would stop, and then you'd have a massive headache.
Um, I apologize, everyone.
I bet other people out there were doing this.
Probably the same people who saw this show called Land of the Lost, and I'm putting it in quotes now because I'm starting to think it's just a hallucination.
Now you're going to get a bunch of people telling you how much they loved Land of the Lost, and you're bringing it on yourself. I'm looking up Rush Drug. I think it was called
What was it for? It wasn't
just to
just
get a little high. It was just a little.
so it was just like it didn't have another purpose that it was something it was supposed to be used for and you were
I don't
misusing it?
think so. I think it might have been from like that Spencer's shop or something. I mean, I don't even know that. Maybe it was a
Wow.
nitrate popper. We also did those things.
Wow, gosh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
a
Are you?
lot of things are making more sense now. I wish I had all this information sooner because I feel like I've wasted a lot of time.
This was like. Yeah, I think this is what it was. Amyl nitrate, depressant known for a quick euphoric rush.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I probably shouldn't read it because it'll make me realize like why I can't think clearly a lot of the time. But
Well, at least you have an explanation. I didn't do any of those things, and here we are, same place once again.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it was just sort of what you did in high school, right?
Maybe in your neck of the woods.
In my
I
area of
don't know.
Tennessee. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
Mm.
Inhalant. Yeah, it was like an inhalant. Yeah, and I can't remember what those other things were, like little poppers or something. Same kind of deal.
Uh-huh.
Same deal. Like not a like these were not good highs, but
No, sort of trashy highs. Mm.
trashy highs and then we'd
Mhm.
take no-dos and all, just whatever.
Uh-huh. Whatever,
We
man.
were just sort of hell bent on like mildly
Well,
abusing our person.
yeah, you just wanted to
Like,
alter your reality a bit.
yeah, and you know how like at that
Mhm.
age you want to be cool so badly and you want to like
Mhm. Mhm.
grow up and whatever and
Mhm.
like be the cool
Yeah.
kids. And so yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like I'm not
Yeah.
proud of it. I'm just saying that's what was going on.
You took us on quite a little journey there,
I
Gia.
know, and I like so let's get back to Sunny's surgery.
Yeah.
What were you feeling towards Sunny during all of this?
Well, I was nervous. Well, first of all, several things. I thought there should have been some sort of scarring on his chest that would have
Oh
indicated
yeah,
he'd been shot in the heart before.
you're
But it
right.
looked very smooth to me.
Yeah, you're right.
So that was one thing. And then I was nervous because we know Sidwell knows about this surgery, right? So I wondered,
Right.
are these people legitimate doctors and
Oh my
nurses,
God,
all of
you
that?
are thinking so much more clearly than me because none of that occurred to me.
Really? Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the nurse, when she told Carly she had to leave, I thought, "Ooh, I don't like her. I don't know."
Like,
Miss, I think she said, "Miss, you have to leave now." And I thought, that doesn't sound
I
right.
don't like that. Um, oh, but you're
Uh,
right. Yeah, there could be some intrigue here, especially when everybody's all masked up and you don't know who,
all
like,
masked up. Yeah, I don't know, and it didn't feel like a real like legitimate sort of setting for a serious operation. I mean, I guess they're moving him
oh,
into are they
yeah, they'll
moving him
probably
into
be
sort of
wheeling them into
yeah,
the operating
yeah,
theater. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So we'll see, but yeah, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
remember
So
that my first colonoscopy when they wheeled me into the other room,
yeah.
I was
Uh-huh.
like "Fuck, this is looking like a real like it looked like a real like surgical kind of place." And so
Yeah.
I and but luckily they doped me up like immediately and so I didn't but that's the
Uh-huh.
first thing that registered in my brain. It was like, "Oh my God, this is like for real."
I think there's a scene in The Simpsons where Homer's going into surgery or something, and they put the mask on him to like knock him out, and then they take it away, and he like waves it back.
Bring it back. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I picture you doing something
There
like
is a
that.
certain personality that's like,
Yeah,
"Yes, more, more." Um,
I wasn't done with that.
yeah. Well, yeah, okay, now I am worried about Sunny, and I have such mixed feelings, like, I feel like and I kind of like this, and I think you
Mhm.
have brought this up many times about the whole show kind of being about the mob stuff, and it didn't used to be
Mhm.
about mob stuff.
Mhm.
And I think we're this whole referendum on Sunny
Yeah.
is going to be kind of bringing things to a head.
Uh-huh.
Um, and the whole like the scene with Tracy and
Mm. Mhm.
Boyle, and then
Oil.
Tracy and Laura, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, is Sunny like coming off his throne here in
Right.
lots of
Mhm.
ways, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah, and like, Felicia was trying to persuade Carly that maybe it was possible for Sonny to step down from his throne, and I don't know if it is or not, but it would, like Laura said, I think he had kept a lot of things at bay, and I I
The
know this.
devil you know is basically
Yeah.
her argument. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, so, we know Selena's still lurking around, and Sid, well, we don't really know what he's capable of or what his agenda is,
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah,
um
I get like you don't want a vacuum.
Right, right, and apparently they couldn't, prevent something good from filling that vacuum, you know what I mean? Or maybe I didn't say that clearly enough, but whatever whatever structure, like law structure they have in this town, it's not enough to keep
It's
another
not
bad
enough,
guy
but
from
yeah.
coming in and filling that void,
But this all might be the downfall of both Sunny and Laura, because Laura's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, mhm,
um, at this point anyway, seeming loyal to Sunny, even though she
right.
had turned on him not that long ago.
Not that long ago,
Um,
yeah, mhm.
I'm wondering if the Jaggers murder is going to get raised again
Hmm.
in
Yeah,
all of
you'd like that,
this.
wouldn't you?
I think so. I'm just so conflicted about Sunny.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I see the scenes like today, and I get like nostalgic and attached, and I
Mhm.
think about any human's real fear going into a situation like that where
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
know if you're
right.
going to die or not.
Right, right.
Um, and so of course you have such sympathy for
Mhm.
the just for the humanity of it all.
Mhm.
But then you remind yourself that he's like a cold-blooded killer. We've only
Mhm.
seen on screen one instance of it, but
Mhm.
aren't
Right.
we led to believe that he's been murdering people his whole career?
That the Pine Barrens are full of bodies that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
put
In
there,
the
yeah.
pines, in the pines,
Oh
yeah.
boy. Oh boy,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
uh-huh.
Oh boy.
I don't like that.
Little lead belly there. Uh,
But yeah, they've done a nice job of making him a more like complex character, I guess, or just like equal parts, sympathetic and sort of,
yeah, yeah. Which so
uh,
right, so that's doing a good job. I mean, I like it's good that
mhm,
I'm conflicted about him, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
hmm,
I don't know. I mean, we should be conflicted about Jason as well, right? Because he's been an
right,
enforcer, and so
yeah,
shouldn't we
yeah,
assume that he has carried out Sonny's orders to
hmm.
kill for years?
We should, yeah. I mean, they killed that guy, that hitman. What was his name out in Chicago or wherever they
Oh,
went?
right. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Nobody
what was
missed
his
him
name?
apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Can't think of his name. They made a big deal of his name, and then now it's gone.
Sawitsky or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
Sowitsky or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh. Anyway, well, I
Hmm.
think we've probably talked through a lot of. I mean, there was a lot that happened in the last couple days.
There was,
Um,
yeah, and I did like some of those conversations Laura was having, like, with Tracy, and I think, like you said, it could be the downfall of Laura, as mayor, but luckily, she's still got so many other things going on that we'll still have plenty of reasons to see her, that part
yeah,
of her wasn't the most interesting part about
right.
her, really,
Exactly. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
But I
Um,
guess for the character, it might be a blow if she suddenly finds that she's, gotta
brought
step
low.
aside. Yeah,
Right.
by
Yeah.
especially by the likes of Boyle and that kind of
Boyle. Right.
person,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I didn't like Tracy giving him money either. I thought that was a bad idea.
And it was so old fashioned to see a check passing hands.
Yeah.
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 Like, they maybe write those anymore?
Yeah. But then there was the introduction of the whore.
Oh yeah, Hua, right? That Nina's kicked out of. So, and they're gonna bring him down with the whore. They're gonna bring
Yeah.
uh
Drew.
Drew down. I don't know.
Mhm.
So far, like, I like all these pairings, or where like, oh, Nina and Carly or whatever, but they never
Yeah.
actually do anything.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know?
They didn't really make the most of that pairing, really. Now they're sort
No.
of just as adversarial as they were before, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And so it's so exciting when they pair up, and you're like, "Ooh, boy!" And then nothing
Yeah.
really comes to
Yeah.
fruition ever. Like, there
Yeah,
is
that
no plan.
right, right. Yeah. I know that was unfortunate. But maybe
Yeah,
with this new whore,
with the Hua. Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
be able to rub their hands together and come up with a good plan.
A lady of the evening. Yeah.
Mhm. An escort.
An
Yeah.
escort. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh, pardon me. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay. I guess it's your bedtime,
Okay.
huh, Gia?
I think we're getting there. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Count backwards from 10.
Oh, dear. Oh,
But
dear.
don't worry about me, public. I know I came off sounding like a sleazy, crappy addict. I'm just those were my teenage years. Those were all my teen years.
Yeah, yeah. She survived them, more or
The
less.
normal hijinks, the normal hijinks. But I will say, if you're the parent of a teenager, don't trust them. That's all
At all.
at all. Yeah,
Yep.
maybe trust but verify or something like that. But,
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
okay, all right. Well, we'll talk again in a few days, and hope everybody has a
Yeah.
lovely
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody, and
Yes, appreciate it.
apologies for everything you've heard tonight.
Yeah, of course, as usual. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Gia. You have a good
Okay,
night.
Keish. You too. We'll talk
Okay.
to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.